You're probably looking at this title of my speech and wondering, is he serious? Does he know what adversity means? Is he really asking us to embrace it? Well, yes, I do know what adversity means, and I am serious. I bet there's several of you in this room that understand what I'm talking about when I say embrace your adversity. Because there's probably several of you in this room that joined Toastmasters for the single reason of overcoming their fear of public speaking. So you embraced your adversity to overcome it. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go looking for adversity or go finding it. But I will suggest that when it comes knocking, and believe me, it will come knocking for each and every one of us at some moment in our life, I'm asking you to think about embracing it. So many people try to sidestep it or run from it, or maybe it's something that is continuously coming at you. Embrace it. It might be your big opportunity. It might be your blessing in disguise. I'd like for each one of you to take a moment and think about somebody that you know or that you admire, somebody that's achieved the pinnacle of their career, achieved greatness, maybe even somebody that's changed the world. Think about that individual. I'd be willing to bet if we went around the room and asked each person who that individual was in their mind, that we could look back in their history and find some moment where they've overcome tremendous adversity or obstacles. Let's face it, nobody ever wins the lottery and then goes on to do greatness for the most part. Most of the time, they end up struggling even more. It's through adversity, through the hard times, that people have the opportunity to overcome. I want to share with you today my 3 secrets to embracing your adversity. And the first secret is accept it. And I mean accept it willingly. Don't run from it. Don't sidestep it. Face it head on. I believe that the human body is resilient, and we're able to achieve far more than we ever realized. We have way more potential than we would ever realize. But a lot of us deal with fear, and sometimes that adversity, and we run from it. To further illustrate my point, in April of 2008, my family and myself were faced with tremendous adversity. Adversity that actually changed our lives. And I will tell you it was for the better, but it didn't appear that way at first. You see, my wife was pregnant with twin babies, and we were all anxiously awaiting them. The big kids were awaiting them, and we were awaiting them. But along the way, we found out that they had twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, which is a devastating evil syndrome. It's a syndrome that leaves families feeling hopeless and feeling like quitting. In fact, the 2 first options they give you are 1, abortion, and 2 is selective reduction, where you basically cut off life of one to save the other. But those don't seem like very good options to us. So obviously we didn't take either of those 2. There was a third option, and that was to seek out a fairly new procedure that they were doing known as laser therapy, where they actually go in utero and try to stop the transfusing, and then you hope the effects wear off, and then you hope that the pregnancy goes on. We found ourselves in Salt Lake at one of the facilities that would actually do this surgery. Now, it wasn't the best or even the second best facility, but those facilities would not have taken our case. We found Dr. Ball, and this is Dr. Ball, who accepted to join in this journey with us, and he accepted this task of doing the surgery. You see, we had such an extreme case that the other facilities wouldn't have taken us, but he did, and he accepted it. And I took this picture here, I don't know if you all can see this. I took this picture right before my wife went into the surgery, and the doctor kind of looked at me funny, and I said, I want to show my children, my girls, one day, the doctor that was willing to give them a chance. This is a picture of fingers in front of a guitar, calloused, and you're probably wondering, what do these fit into this speech? But another illustration of why I think you should embrace your adversity and how the human body was made to respond is, if you think about it, have any of you ever played the guitar or tried to learn to play the guitar? Do you remember when you first started how much it hurt your fingers when they were pressing against those hard strings? It was painful, right? But you kept going. And as you continue to go, those calluses, which look ugly and we think of as a bad thing, are really your body. It's the human body and the resiliency. Your body is throwing up layers of extra skin to protect you from that pain. In fact, the definition of calluses is especially toughened area of skin. due to repeated friction and pressure. Sounds like adversity to me. The human body actually protects you from that pain. Secret number 2 is share it. It's very counterintuitive to our culture to share some of your adversity at times. Some people might say, no, be independent, you can handle it, don't let people know what's going on, act like everything's okay. Well, I think you should do just the opposite. I think you should let your family and friends know immediately. In fact, when we found out about the twins, the first thing we did, I called 2 of my best friends, my prayer warrior buddies, and let them know, because I knew that this wasn't something that we could handle on our own. And I bet if you look back to each one of those individuals that you all thought of as someone achieving greatness, every single one of them achieved greatness, but not on their own. They needed other people, because nobody achieves greatness or changes the world on their own. We need other people. So share it. Let other people know what you're doing. When's the last time someone asked you for help and you said no? Okay, besides someone asking you to help them move, right? Because I always say no to that. I'm sorry, I'm just not good at moving. I'll help you do other things, but moving, I won't do. But in all seriousness, if a close friend said that they had a sick child, or a parent that was dying, or a family member that was dying, wouldn't you be tripping over yourself to help them? And it's a blessing for those people to help you. So allow them to be blessed. Share the adversity. My third secret is visualize yourself overcoming it. Whatever that moment in time is where you know that once I overcome this, this is what I'm going to do. Think of that. Think of that picture, what that might look like. And visualize yourself actually overcoming it. This is a picture of Jimmy V, or Jim Valvano, but he's known as Jimmy V. An amazing man, great coach, went on to inspire many people. You could call him a world changer. This is a picture of Jimmy V cutting down the nets after his North Carolina State Wolfpack just won the national championship. They're cutting down the nets because that's a celebration that's reserved for the champion after they win the championship. This team, though, was probably, historians would say, one of the greatest underdogs of all time. And they went on to win the national title. Now let me tell you, this was not the very first time Jim Valvano cut down the nets. He never won the championship, but he had practiced cutting down the nets before. In fact, as legend would have it, Jim Valvano understood what I'm talking about today about embracing your adversity. He accepted it, he shared it, and he visualized himself overcoming it. He shared it with his team. So he would have his team go and practice cutting down the nets. Practice and visualize themselves being champions when nobody else thought that they could do it. Well, Jim Valvano inspired me. So right after I took that picture of my wife, before she was going into surgery, I knew I was going to have a couple hours. So I asked the nurse to give me 2 baby blankets. And I wadded them up and made it look like babies, like I was holding babies. And I sat there for 2 hours, over 2 hours in the lobby, in the waiting room, and practiced holding both of my girls. Because that was going to be my moment. Was visualizing myself walking out of that hospital holding both of my daughters. And that was my cutting down the net, if you will. And this is an actual picture of me holding both of them for the first time. This was my cutting down the nets. Now I will tell you that for my wife, her adversity, or big challenge is just now beginning. I would move back to Kansas City. She would move into the Ronald McDonald House and stay in Salt Lake City away from all of her family and spend each day in a NICU. And if you know anything about micropreemies, they literally stop breathing at moments where nurses will come over and have to bag them and they're turning purple and bring them back. And so my wife, to get her through, her visualization of overcoming this adversity was that she knew one day she wanted to stand at the baptismal font in our parish and have both of those babies baptized. Both of them, not just one of them. She wanted to stand in front of our congregation with all the people that we'd shared our adversity with. Our huge faith community was there for us and helped us in so many ways, sent us so much love. That was her visualization. And this is her cutting down the nets, if you will. This is my wife right in the middle. You see that big smile? That's what she'd been waiting for. So I'll say it again, embrace your adversity. Whatever adversity that it is that you have in your life, whatever your struggle is, whatever you're faced with, don't run from it, don't hide from it, because I firmly believe that through that adversity is how some of those great people were thrust into greatness. And you can be too, just like anybody else, just like Jimmy V or whoever it is in your mind. Embrace your adversity, accept it, share it, and overcome it. Thank you.